So my older I lead two troops now. My older troop just finished up. We still need to submit all of our stuff for our bronze award, but we finished our project, and we need to
Nice.
get our submission in. And and the way that our troop kind of evolved with this is we had a very large troop of over like low 20s girls, and only about 8 of them were interested in earning the award, and at that point they were led by somebody else, and I offered to lead the bronze group, and because my daughter was one of the ones interested, and so I was shepherding them through that. And then through COVID and inaction on a lot of the part of the rest of the troop, everybody but 3 other girls dropped out, and so the troop became the bronze group. So that's what we've worked on primarily this past year. So I know they'll be interested in the silver, and I'm wondering what makes something elevated to the next level, I guess. So we kind of got familiar with what bronze is. So what, yeah, so getting your insight onto when they start looking at silver, what are they looking for that takes it up a notch, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a really interesting question, and I hope I can give some useful tips. I think on a logistical level, the first things that do kind of make the Silver Award a bit more challenging to do for the middle school age Girl Scouts is each of the Girl Scouts has to do a minimum of 50 hours of work, up from that Bronze Award level of 20. So it is,
Significantly more, yeah.
yeah, more
Okay.
time. And then, yeah, the amount of work that the Girl Scouts put into, I think that measurability and long term impact piece is often what I see as kind of bringing the projects up a little bit higher and having that impact stretch out even further. I think
Okay.
with the Bronze Award projects, we see that they're making an awesome difference. But with Silver Award, they go a little bit deeper into thinking about, okay, how do I know that what I'm doing is making this change? How can I count that, or how can I track that? Or, can I compare a before and after of people's mindsets about something?
Okay.
Um, and then additionally thinking a little bit more about, okay, I'm doing this project right now. How can it continue to be actively doing its work even when I am done and have
Okay.
totally put it down?
So looking for
Um,
more measurability about that impact afterward, yeah,
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 yeah, and
yeah.
thinking about, okay, if I'm trying to get my school, maybe the school has a big litter problem or something. If the Girl Scouts are trying to eliminate that problem, thinking about, okay, if we're doing all this work to organize cleanups, and we're leading a workshop about why it's important not to litter even at school, it can get into the waterways, etc. Thinking about, okay, maybe once we're done with this, we've made all these things, we could start a club, and then the club exists at the school, it can keep going even if we are not there anymore.
Mhm.
So yeah, thinking about those sort of longer term pieces. And yeah, I think my best advice for Silver and Gold Award Girl Scouts in the very beginning is to think about not necessarily what project they want to do as the first thing they think about, but think about what problem they're interested in solving.
Mhm.
And then they won't get sort of as, I think, caught up in maybe a preconceived notion of what they wanted to do or needed to do, and that gives them more room to explore and kind of get insight into what is actually going on.
Right, right,
So
okay,
yeah, that
okay,
was a super lengthy answer, so
okay,
I apologize, it was very
that's okay.
chatty, but I hope
Yeah,
that's a
yeah,
little
that's
helpful. Yeah.
yeah, so the girls, when they were thinking about ideas for Bronze Award,
Mm.
and there were a lot of issues that they kind of they recognized, and they realized that any project that they were coming up for was potentially going to be destroyed by their inability to do something because of COVID. So there were a lot of things that
Oh,
they had to table. So I'm hoping that they can kind of build upon something that they had identified there.
yeah,
Now,
totally.
do you see in silver? Do you see girls working in smaller groups more often? I mean, 50 hours, if you have a large group, you would have to have a really enormous project to get every kid
Yeah.
50 hours. You, what do you typically see as far as
Mm.
sizes of groups working on this?
Yeah, I think most commonly I see Girl Scouts working in um, groups of 2 or 4, and then I
Yeah.
also see a fair number of individual Girl Scouts.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, yeah, the groups definitely I've seen all permutations of that, but I would
Okay.
say yeah, probably most common 4, second most common 2.
Okay. That
Mm,
makes more sense because I was
yeah.
thinking the whole troop trying to work on this together. That's a lot of, you'd need a really big project to get
Yeah.
60 hours for
Yeah,
every girl. Yeah.
it's a maximum of 4 girls
Mhm.
to work
Okay.
together for silver.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's good to know. So they
Yeah.
would,
So, yeah,
so they would need to, if they're all interested, kind of team up in little groups.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you have a project with multiple girls, they need to make sure that each of them has a leadership component, that there isn't one girl who's overall taking the lead and the other 3 are kind of following along. They want
Right.
to each have a component where they can exercise control and demonstrate leadership.
Okay.
And yeah, we have in our silver award packet, and I'll drop a link to this main page. We have an example of a sort of planning tool that you can use if it's helpful to kind of show Girl Scouts, okay, how can we divide up these tasks? Who's going to be responsible for what? I think that you don't have to plan everything out to the letter or anything, but I think it's
Yeah.
helpful to think about it from the outset. Yeah.
That's good to, that's really helpful advice. Yeah, we've got, and this is, I'm sure applies to almost every group. We've got a number of very natural born leaders who just really lead everything along, and others that are a little more shy and in the background.
Yeah.
So it's going to be important to find ways to help those girls to be encouraged to take leadership. And I think that it's good to know that's maximum 4, because that's those smaller groups. It's you can't go along for a ride as easily in a small group. You must take some leadership. So that's
Right.
Can you share more details on Silver Award to Girls Gold Award? Our troop is shrinking. So I was leading 10 girls group.
Mhm.
After 10, 7, no, yeah, 7 had decided to do Silver Award. 4 got approved, and their project went through. Two other groups just submitted. So yeah, we are very super excited, but now going forward, they're going to be ambassador the next year. Sorry, I forgot the level now.
Oh no, that's yeah. If they're going into 10th or ninth grade,
Ninth grade.
senior, yeah.
But now only 4 girls are interested in continuing the Girl Scout.
Yeah.
And out of 4, only parents are only committed for 2 of the parents are committed.
Mhm.
So now the question I have is, what is the involvement from a leadership, troop leadership? What kind of help can we get from the service unit for a gold award? And what are the challenges people face? Because it's going to be individual gold award, like individual girl, it seems like, right?
Mhm.
Compared to silver award, now it's a lot more involvement, 80 hours. So I'm just curious if you can share more details, a little more about what kind of help or resources are provided.
Yeah.
And if girls don't want to continue, if whole troop doesn't want to continue, if only one girl wants to continue, do we need to have a troop? Can only one girl do it as an independent Girl Scout?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Those are my questions. Sorry.
Totally. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Yeah. So I'll answer that last question first. So yeah, if a Girl Scout is no longer part of a troop, if the troop is disbanding, that individual Girl Scout can still earn the gold award. Absolutely. She just needs to be registered with the council. So she can register as an independent Girl Scout, or it's also possible to join another local troop if she's still interested in that troop experience.
It's so hard to find another local troop. And believe me, I've been trying it for last 2 months to
Oh, yeah.
someone please accept my girl.
Oh,
It's not happening. So okay. Can you share more details about independent is there a website or a link that I can take a look? Can I talk to somebody on one-on-one?
Yeah, so let me put a link in the chat. This has our Gold Award packet on it, which has some information for independent Girl Scouts. Basically, in terms of the Gold Award, their experience is largely the same. The requirements don't change or anything. It's just sort of where they get their support from. So we have some insight into that on this page. And then, yeah, in terms of registering as an independent Girl Scout, I don't have as much expertise in that. However, I will also, let's see, this is our renewal page, and our registration team would be.
Yeah, even our conversion team can help them move from a troop that's disbanding or a troop that they're no longer going to be with to
Mhm.
independently registered.
Awesome.
And independently registered girls' parents have access to the volunteer toolkit. So journeys, badge work, and so forth. And all the Gold Award information is, of course, available on the website.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank
So,
you.
the best resource right now is probably her volunteer development manager. That would just depend on where she lives.
Like, how do I find that out? The contact information of that person. I have open tickets. I have called. I have attended.
Yeah.
But there's no follow-up. So I'm just now curious because we do want to continue.
I'm going to put my email in the chat, and go ahead and email me with your information, and I will follow up with that and either connect you with your volunteer development manager or help you get you processed in where you need to be myself. I'm driving right now, which is why I can't look anything up.
No
but I'll
worries.
drop
Thank
my
you, thank you,
email in
thank you.
chat
This is
right
great
now.
help. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much. And now I think if you can just share a little more information about Gold Award commitment or any other leadership awards commitment for an independent girl, it will be great help. Thank you.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so the Gold Award is earned just as an individual Girl Scout. That each girl must lead her own project. So for an independent Girl Scout, being independent won't change really much about that materially. And yeah, I think so. Something that's really important to know about the Gold Award is it is a big time commitment in terms of the project. It's also a big time commitment in terms of preparing and getting materials approved. So the way that the Gold Award works that is different from bronze or silver is it's actually approved by council at both levels. So council approves it to start work as well as provides final approval. And to do that, Girl Scouts need to submit a proposal to us via Go Gold Online, basically explaining, what is the problem you're actually trying to solve? What is the research you've done that allows you to know that what you're doing is on the right track? And then what specifically are you actually trying to do for that project? So there's a lot of information to provide in terms of what they want to do, when they think it's going to happen, a lot of really good planning information, and then submitting it to council. Our volunteer Gold Award committees are regional. So each different part of our council, whether it's the South Bay, East Bay Peninsula, North Coast, or North Central, has a different group of volunteers that supports Girl Scouts from that region. And they meet once per month. And the teams work really hard to provide helpful feedback and ask clarifying questions. And basically their job is to make sure that the Gold Award meets all of the requirements and that Girl Scouts know what they need to know before getting started. So I would say definitely planning ahead is super important. And yeah, sorry, Winnie, did I cut you off there?
No, I was just wondering, do we need to schedule or is there a scheduler anywhere that for a proposal submission, or it's just a document that a report they are submitting? I thought proposal, what I understood, whatever my research, I understood that you have to do the presentation to the proposal team or gold award committee team for their proposal? Is that what it is?
Yeah, so the proposal is a written document that the Girl Scouts submit, and they can submit it at any time. Although 12th grade Girl Scouts need to be really mindful, and they do need to submit no later than the May 1st of the year that they are going to graduate. But we take proposals on a rolling basis. And yeah, we do have a schedule of when those reviews take place on that same page. Let me drop that in the chat again. So that folks can get a sense of when their region is meeting. As a rule of thumb, I do usually recommend that Girl Scouts try to submit their proposals in the first week or so of the month. Usually that means that they'll be reviewed that same month as long as their proposal is complete.
And our council does not do a personal interview for the proposal or the final report. The volunteer advisor who works with the girl would definitely be in personal contact with her and have conversations about the proposal once she receives it, and likely also about the final report. But there's no formal personal interview process that's required.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That was my main concern. That is it in person presentation?
No.
Submission.
It's all written, which is a lot of writing. I tell girls that they need to look at that proposal as if they were writing a college application. It needs to be comprehensive and specific and well written, using appropriate grammar and so forth.
Yeah. So we figured that for our silver award submission, it is a decent amount of work for girls to do it too. Just curious,
Yes.
the last question, I'll let other people if they have question. For silver award, if they got approval from the service unit that they finished and it's good, is there any ceremony that service unit does, or it's just a troop independently doing the celebration? And how I know we got the email saying that now you will receive a certificate at home, but we don't know anything like how long will it take. Should we inquire something, because it's been 2+ weeks and my girls are getting antsy, like, oh, we haven't received anything. Every day they text me and saying, hey, nothing in the mail yet. I'm like, okay, I'll find out for you guys. So that will be nice if you guys can tell a little more information.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So for the Silver Award, we don't have any council staff run ceremony that we hold currently. However, sometimes troops and service unit volunteers do host their own ceremonies to recognize those Girl Scouts in their area that have earned that honor. And we do have some not super formal resources that we can share, but just ideas for ceremonies and things to kind of help make that special. And then, yeah, in terms of certificates, so typically we produce those about every 3 months or so. We do big batches because there are a lot of Girl Scouts that earn the silver. With COVID, we haven't been working from the office for the most part, so we have been delayed in our production of those materials. But we do know that Girl Scouts want them. They've earned it. We want to get those to them. So hopefully we're going to be able to do our next batch really soon. It's just been a bit of a more difficult thing with not being in the office all the time. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. This is what I needed to hear, because I need to tell them. They've been inquiring. So perfect. Thank you so much.
And for any of you, feel free to email me. I dropped my email in the chat. Email me if you have questions about either the awards or how to get in contact with your local volunteer development manager who is your staff representative, and I can help you with any of them.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all for awesome questions. Yeah, are there more questions or clarifying things anyone's looking for in terms of awards or leadership opportunities?
What other leadership opportunities are there for high school teenager girls?
Yeah, totally.
I am a huge fan of the Lead the Way Convention and Planning Committee. Huge fan. My troop did it all 4 years, loved it. My daughter was on the planning committee for 3 years, loved it. And, the other older girl activities that they spoke about earlier, the Speakers Bureau, the Learning Club, Teens Takeover are all really, really fun experiences for the older girls. They have the opportunity to make friends with like-minded girls from other areas. My daughter made friends at all these events that she would only see at these older Girl Scout events, and they would keep contact with each other on social media. They're still friends now that they're in college. So I urge older girls always just to give those older girl activities a chance. The Mission Gold Camp is awesome, and they will likely find that it's really, really fun and rewarding. And they learn a lot too.
So are we supposed to join the club? Is there registration or because now I have to think for one girl who will not have her current friends, Girl Scout friends that they were together in the troop. So how does that process work? Is it something that is done by service unit or at a global level, and then we just sign up for it? Or
Girls would sign up individually, or you as a troop leader could sign up the girls in your troop who are interested. And, my daughter was the only one in her troop who actively pursued a lot of those older girl opportunities. And it was a significant amount of driving for us because at the time, all those things were in person. But she made friends there. It helped her actually be able to reach out and make friends and socialize on an introductory basis, which then helped her when she went away to college to be able to find a social group and fit in, because she had learned those skills because she didn't have a buddy there as a backup most of the time.
okay, perfect.
Yeah, and I just dropped that link in the chat. The events calendar is what we're currently using for registration. And yeah, there's a couple different ways to search around in that database for different things.
Yeah, they're all found on the events calendar. You can search by grade level, which is really helpful because then it will show you all the different opportunities that are open to them. The new Becoming Me series as well has a cadet level series that will be starting next week. So for cadets, that's going to be a really cool virtual badge series over the summer for 6 weeks, and it will be recorded. So if girls miss a week, it's no problem. They'll have access to the recording. I'm actually very excited about that series coming up.
Yeah, it should be super cool. Yeah, that's sort of a big peek at our offerings currently. I think what I have encountered is we're not always able to get our information out as far as we want to. So there's usually a lot of older girl stuff happening. But yeah, it's not always, we don't always publicize it the like smartest way. So I'm personally trying to figure out how to do that in a more strategic way and pump that out. Because yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on for older girls that's pretty cool. Yeah.
And I have to say that our older girl staff is wonderful at making these different older girl events fun and not just learning or, leading and doing a job. It's actually a fun opportunity and they have a great time doing it.
Yeah, we love an icebreaker. We love an improv game. So all sorts of fun. Yeah. Are there more questions or things on your mind about awards, leadership, other activities? Yeah, general questions you might have.
I was gonna ask. Now, girls are old enough. At least the one girl who will continue might be interested in travel. So I know there was another troop or another breakout room, but now I have no idea. I have to go back to that breakout room, or will it be continued? I don't know. Or maybe you guys can share more information.
Yeah. Yeah, Winnie, I'm not sure if you have any anything you want to add for travel. If you do
Yeah.
want to, oh, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I can for sure. My troop did troop travel while they were cadets. While they were cadets, they planned to bridge to seniors at Disneyland. So for those 3 years, they earned their funds mostly through cookies. They put on a cookie rally each year for their service unit as a money earning activity. And then, we went down to Disneyland and bridged there, and they had a great time. So when you do troop travel, it gives the girls that opportunity to plan their travel, to budget, and then once they budget and learn what things cost, they're motivated to earn those funds because they see where it's going. And for my daughter, I found that her opportunity to travel while in middle school and high school, she joined a travel troop that did international travel with Girl Scouts. And the girls earned their funds to travel internationally, and it engaged her a great deal. And she had that personal connection to earning for that trip, and that was hers personally. It wasn't just something that mom paid for and she showed up at the airport and went. There was a bigger engagement, all that time spent figuring out how to earn the funds, and then connecting with other girls, and the culture of where she was going was a huge growing experience. And Girl Scouts has a volunteer, Sandy Norman, who works with EF Tours, and they have tours every year. There's usually a selection of like 3 different trips that girls can do. And last year and this year, those trips were postponed, but trips are on schedule to happen next year. They are open for girls to sign up for, and just highly recommend that opportunity to travel. It gives them such a sense of self-confidence and that knowledge that they can step out on their own and be okay. So girls have the opportunity, they can do troop travel. There are a number of various dedicated travel troops here and there. And then, of course, the EF tours that council features, and you can find travel on the Girl Scout homepage. If you look for travel, and there will be contact information there to be able to see the different trips that are available to sign up for at this time.
Thank you.
Winnie, on that note, you mentioned that you were that your daughter joined a travel troupe, and how many years were they planned? How did they get together and say, "Here's where we're going to go in X number of years"? And how I'm curious about that, because I know that my girls sometimes say, everything's mom leads our troops. So I think that might be something really interesting to them to have something extra that mom's not leading, right? That they don't, that they're not the leader's daughter at. And what was the lead time on doing these things? I guess I'm curious.
In the travel troop that we were a part of, it's an exchange program with Japan, Girl Scouts of Japan. And so the lead time for travel is 2 years with that troop, which is just about right, because you get the girls in, this is what you're going to do, this is the commitment. We're going to have 2 years to put together our funds, get your passport, practice, whatever you need to know for travel. Mm-hmm. And it gives them the opportunity to kind of bond with each other and plan their agenda. They can do research about where they want to go, see what places they want to visit or activities that they want to do at their destination. And then you got to figure you're going to probably buy your plane tickets and make your final travel arrangements about 6 months ahead of time. Right. And that's also when you're going to want to have your paperwork into Girl Scouts as well, so that they can approve your travel, whether it's domestic or international. You're going to want 6 months for that solid final planning. So 2 years out is a good number. It's not so far that they can't engage with it, but 2 years is enough time for them to do their planning.
That makes sense. What age did your daughter travel?
She joined the international travel troop in 8th grade. And so they traveled at the summer after she went out of 9th grade. And then she stayed with that troop, and we hosted scouts from Japan. years later. And then she also stayed with the troop as a troop helper when she went into college and traveled with them again to Japan in 2019.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. When I growing up, we did some troop travel and we did domestic travel as a troop, but I never got to do the international. And I never traveled internationally till I was a young adult on my own out of school. And it's one of the things that I just think is such an eye opener for your worldview to see different cultures and experience. So this is something I really want to encourage my daughters to do. So thanks for sharing that. That's good to
Yeah,
hear.
you're welcome.
Yeah, I think I greatly appreciate that too. Even I never had that opportunity, and I think it's a big learning moment to be independent for all the girls, especially at the young level, right? So, yeah, I'm all up for it. And now I'm like, can I do it too?
Right, right. The other thing that's a huge booster for their self-confidence is going away to summer camp. You know, that week, 2 weeks or 3 weeks away at summer camp is a huge growth experience and a confidence booster for them. And then if they're in high school, that camp experience can include the counselor in training, the CIT program, which is an awesome opportunity. Huge growth for them to go away to camp.
Yeah, my daughters did sleepaway camp for the very first time. They did the half week at Bothan the year before COVID, and this past summer, they were so ready to go for a week, and of course it didn't happen. And then this year they weren't ready to jump to the 2 and 3 week commitments. So we're really looking forward to next year. So get both of my daughters doing that. But it's especially for the shyer girls that having that opportunity is so cool.
Definitely. And I have seen a lot of local, I work with service units in Solano and Contra Costa and Alameda counties. So I've seen a number of troops that plan travel either as a troop or a secondary. So the girls will have their primary troop that does what they call normal Girl Scout stuff, whatever their troop does. And then maybe a number of girls from that area. Then the girls will participate in both. So they'll have 2 troop numbers. And that travel troop can plan their whatever they want to do, their destination, do their money earning, and so forth. And that's something a lot of people don't realize their girls can do. They can participate in 2 troops. So the first might be the primary, and the second might be the robotics group, or a backpack interest group, or trailblazer troop, or mariners, or travel. And the only hitch is that they have to choose which troop they're going to sell cookies or fall products with. And we can't split it and have them sell with 2 troops at the same time. So I have girls who will sell fall products with one troop and then cookies with the other troop, kind of split their money earning between their 2 troops.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So, and we find that travel is one of the best ways to keep girls in Girl Scouts.
An enticing opportunity. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it's definitely one that a lot of Girl Scouts are like, ooh, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There is also another trip that our council puts together, and I believe it's Erica Sutliff, who was talking earlier, who is now running it, and it's called On the Road Again. And it's a summer trip. They didn't have it last year or this year, of course, but it goes to several national parks. So they'll do a road trip. Yeah, On the Road Again trip. That's what it is. They'll do a road trip through 2 or 3 national parks and go see all those great places. And it's like a 2-week trip. Very exciting thing for girls who love the outdoors and that kind of stuff. They get that opportunity to actually go camping on a road trip to see all these really, really beautiful places.
Yeah, there's lots of cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we are coming to the end of our time. But yeah, I just want to do a quick check. Are there any like more pressing questions that y'all still have? I also want to make sure I drop just these sort of helpful email addresses in the chat if you don't have them already. For general questions, we have info@gsnorcal.org. We also have awards@gsnorcal.org if your question is specifically about awards. Yeah, so if you do have more questions later, you can still reach us. And yeah, Winnie had dropped her email address as well.
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, it was really nice getting to chat with all of you. Oh, sorry, I see you on mute, Ishita.
No, thank you. I just wanted to say thank you. This has been great, helpful information and the session. I've been looking for such things for some time. So this is, I'm glad I joined today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a lot of opportunities that I was unaware of that that are great to hear about. And my oldest are just bridging to cadets, so we're just entering the world of older girl opportunities. So it will be fun to be able to kind of just present them to this universe of things that they could be making goals in the next several
Yeah.
years. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's the attrition that has happened over the past year through it naturally happens at this age, but
Yeah.
the pandemic certainly accelerated it. But what's nice is the girls that I have left are the ones that are so gung-ho and into this. So that will be fun.
Totally. Yeah, it's been really nice chatting with you all. And yeah, like I said, I'm trying to think of better ways for me to share my programs out. So yeah, I'm really glad that this was put on. I was glad to be here. So cool.
And we'll be emailing out the presentation later. And if you know other troop leaders or parents of older girls, forward it to them. For sure, spread the word. We'd appreciate that.
Thank you. Will do. Okay.
Thank
See
you.
ya. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.